What if I told you that you could completely change your life in just 10 seconds? I know, it sounds crazy. But today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea and some amazing stories to back it up. An idea that suggests the universe runs on this simple but kind of terrifying formula. So yeah, let's get right into it. So the guy this whole explainer is based on, he starts with this, just drops this line. I discovered a secret of the universe. Whoa. Okay, that's a huge claim, right? You can't help but lean in and think, all right, I'm listening. What is it? And here's where it gets really interesting. It's not just some big, abstract secret. It's a secret that can supposedly transform your life in like 10 seconds. We're not talking about some 5-year plan here. We're talking about one single, quick moment, a tiny burst of courage. Okay, so here's the hypothesis at the heart of it all. You know that old saying, fortune favors the bold? Well, the idea here is that it's not just a nice quote for a poster, it's a literal formula for how the universe works. Think about it like an equation. You can't directly control fortune, right? But you can control your boldness. So if you crank up the boldness, fortune has to go up with it. It's like a law of physics. Now, a hypothesis is just an idea, right? It's nothing until you actually put it to the test. So let's look at the very first time this theory was tested. And believe me, the stakes were really high. So picture this. He's in a cafe, and he sees a woman across the room. You know that moment? I think we've all been there. You see someone, and it just stops you in your tracks, like this jolt of electricity. But what you do next, well, that's what separates just thinking about something from actually doing it. And you can just imagine the internal battle, right? Palms sweating, heart absolutely pounding. Every single instinct, that little voice in your head is just screaming, no, don't do it, sit down. And that's the key here. This isn't about not feeling fear. It's about feeling all of that and acting anyway. So what does he do? The preparation is so simple. He just takes his receipt, flips it over, and writes down his name and number. That's it. No big, complicated plan, just this one tiny action to get ready for that 10-second moment. And what he said is just so perfectly honest and vulnerable. He walks over and says, hey, you're really cute, which means you probably have a boyfriend, but if you don't, here's my phone number. I mean, look at that. He puts the potential rejection right out there. He's not trying to be some super smooth guy. He's just being real. So what happened? What was the result of those 10 seconds of pure terror? Well, they ended up celebrating their 2-year anniversary. I mean, wow. The reward wasn't just a date, it was the best relationship of his life. You could say the hypothesis passed its first test with flying colors. Okay, but one success story, as amazing as it is, doesn't prove a universal formula, right? So to really put this thing through its paces, he decided to scale up the experiment. A lot. He started a 100-day challenge to be bold, on purpose, every single day. And get this, on day 1, he asks a total stranger to go for a walk, and they say no. Rejection right off the bat. But the weird thing was, even getting rejected made him feel more alive than he'd felt in years. That feeling told him he was on the right track. And then, just a few days later, he asked to jump in a stranger's pool. And they said yes. And the requests just got wilder from there. I mean, some of these are hilarious. He asked a stranger to bake cookies with him, for a piggyback ride. He even asked to borrow $100. He tried to drive a mail truck, a steamroller, and my personal favorite, he asked for a discount because of his good mustache. It just goes to show you being bold doesn't have to be this super serious, life-changing thing every time. It can be playful and fun. And this whole thing wasn't just happening in a vacuum. He posted that video of him jumping into the stranger's pool, and it just blew up online. We're talking 350,000 views. Clearly, this idea of just taking a bold leap, it really hit a nerve. A lot of people were connecting with it. Okay, so we've heard these incredible stories, but it kind of makes you ask, what is bold action, really? Like, what's the actual definition we're working with? Let's break down this secret formula. And it's beautifully simple. A bold action is just any intentional act that scares you a little and excites you a lot. That's the key. It's not about being reckless. It's about finding that sweet spot, that mix of fear and excitement. If you feel both of those things, that's your compass. That's pointing you in the right direction. And when you think about it, the risk versus reward is just so incredibly lopsided. I mean, what's the absolute worst thing that could happen? Someone says no? Okay, so you're exactly where you were before. But the best thing that could happen, everything, literally everything could change. A new relationship, a new career, your whole life could be different. This next part is so important. So many of us wait. We wait until we feel ready, until we feel confident, but that's getting it completely backwards. The confidence doesn't show up first. The magic happens when you take action before you're ready, when you jump even though you're scared. And you know what the best part is? Anyone can do this. It doesn't matter who you are, old, young, super confident, or a bundle of anxiety. It doesn't matter. This isn't some secret club for extroverts. It's a tool that is available to every single one of us. All it takes is that 10-second decision to act. All right, so we've heard his story, we've seen the results, but now this is where it gets personal. The focus shifts to you, because this whole thing is really a challenge for each of us. And remember, bold looks different for everyone. For you, it might be finally making that difficult phone call you've been putting off for weeks. Or maybe it's walking into your boss's office and asking for that raise you absolutely deserve. It could even be a big leap, like changing your whole career. Or hey, it could be as small and fun as high-fiving a total stranger on the street. It all comes back to that formula. What scares you a little and excites you a lot? So this is what it all boils down to. This is the big question I want to leave you with. After hearing all this, what is that one bold action you can take? What's the one thing in your life right now that you could do in the next 10 seconds that might just change everything? There's this quote by Anais Nin that just wraps this all up so perfectly. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. It's not about what happens to us. It's about our own willingness to be bold that defines how big our world can be. It's almost like the universe is just sitting there waiting for us to make the first move. So the only real question left is, will you?